Right, everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing some experimental watercolor. There we go. Sorry about that. I was a little bit late. So what I'm doing here is I have some uh, cold press Fabriano Artistico, I think it is, watercolor paper. It's 140 pound. And I've cut some pieces here, 3 inches by 4 inches. And we're going to do these fun little watercolor landscapes is what I'm going to be doing. You could just do abstracts, but we're going to be playing, and I do say playing because this is fun to do because you never know what you're going to get. It's kind of intuitive, I guess, or what's the other word people are using now? Oh, there's another word for it. I can't think of it right now. So you can put tape, washi tape, whatever you have on. You don't have to. You could just leave it as is. Hey, Dawn, Clint, good to see you. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. So we're just going to have some fun playing with watercolors and making textures, lifting out, scraping, whatever else we can think out. So I did this, quite a few years back. And then I forgot about it. And I just happened upon my old video. Thought I got to do more of those. Those were fun. So what it is, it's basically putting water on, using some colors in your stash of paints. I've got some Payne's Gray, and swishing it around, letting it do its thing, using different thicknesses, and seeing if you can find some kind of a color that arrives in there. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. It's always a different um, scenario. And you can let it bleed. You can let it do whatever it wants. You could make some clouds with a bit of tissue. And then you could also take your palette knife. Now this is a bit wet to be doing this, but you can make rocks by just scraping your, yeah, it's too wet right now. Let's throw some on this one too without the, you don't have to wet them all the time. You could just use wet onto dry. So let's do a little bit of ultramarine blue across here. Some pretty colors here. Mix, match. And see what happens. Let it drip. A lot of times you'll get some really neat outcomes when you let them drip. And you just let them dry. As they dry, you can play with them again. Now let's do some wet into dry. So let's take some more of that Payne's Gray. And I'm just going to skip it. Oh, sorry. Across here. So it kind of looks like clouds. And then let's do a really mix of water. Maybe some magenta on the bottom here. See what we get. Take some tissue, make some clouds. Let it dry. I'm going to pull it out a little bit just so you can see a little bit. Let's see, is this? Yeah, it's still wet. But we can scratch our paper. Get some marks in like grasses or twigs, that type of thing. Is it Belinda? It's still a little wet, but you can scratch in a little bit. As it dries, you can scratch more out. It's actually quite fun. Let's put some really thick stuff in here. I'm going to actually wet. Let's spritz. Okay, I have a little spritzer here. Sometimes it's fun just to spritz and follow the see what happens with this water. So let it just drip down the way it would. Then you can get some really cool looking trees and a bit of a landscape. You never know what you're going to get. Just play with it. That's why I do them on smaller cards. That way you're able to, still have to bring it out a little bit more. There. Because you never know what you're going to get. Do the center line. Let it drip. See where it takes it. Put other colors in there. I remember what they called it. Spontaneous. Spontaneous watercolor. Just have to play. See what paint does, because you never know. And let it dry. Put this one over here for a minute. Let's see what we can do with this one. So let's make some rocks. So, and it's still a little bit wet. Yeah. A little bit wet. But Should be able to do it soon. And this one here. Now this one's pretty well dry, so can't really do too much to that, but we will play with that more. So let's put a little of this green in. Some more of the aqua. Take out some. Maybe we want an island in the center. Coming out. Thick paint would be needed. I haven't done this in a while. I kind of forget. You stop doing stuff, you tend to forget how to do it. Let's do some trees maybe. A little bit of a splurt. But it is fun. Have any of you tried doing these spontaneous watercolor? They are fun. Because you never know what you're going to get. I'm going to put that over here. Let's see if this is ready yet. Just scrape it and it makes cool lines in your paper. Kind of represents rocks, that type of thing. Gives it a little bit of texture. Before you know it, you got a landscape. Let that be. Then we can add some pen work to it. So you can see the rocks in there. Some don't work, some do. It's all an experiment. Let's see what we can do with this one. Just turn it around, see if you see anything in it. Oh, I see stuff. I see a guy with his head there. That's kind of cool. So you just play with it and then you try and spot stuff. Let's put a little bit of splurting water. And what color do we want? I like that Payne's Gray. So let's put a thing of Payne's Gray across here. Some, oh, that really moves. You'll find different brands move more than others, so it's kind of fun to experiment with your different brands of paint. It's just very spontaneous. Let's put some sienna in there. Other paints push other paints away. So this is the sienna. That's kind of cool. What other colors? Maybe some green. Doesn't do a whole lot, but it's kind of fun. Just a bit here and there. Change up what you're seeing. Here's some yellow ochre. Let's do a bit of a dry brush on here. Well, it's got spots of water, but it's okay. Hey, Dawn, you like doing this too? Oh my God, I'm getting all kinds of notifications there. It's fun. You can lift parts. If you find there's too much, you could add different things when it starts to dry, move things. Let's see. Let's put some umber in here a little bit. That really moves. Yeah, you just make a landscape as you go. It just helps your mind think of other things. You know, it's your imagination really starts to go crazy. Could sop some of this up. If you leave it though, it's more powerful looking. So let's put that over there. Let's do a night sky. Paper towel. And let's put a little bit of spray on there. I'm gonna let it drip around. I already see trees. Cool. Just play. It's very hypnotic watching it. We'll put that over there, let it sit. Let's wet it. And let's do a real dark mix. Some Payne's Gray and some umber. Just playing. This is when you can do all the rule breaking, because sometimes you get some really cool stuff. I'm just gonna let's put trying to get a moon in here. Let's see, do I have an elastic? You want this fairly tight. Put some tape on it. Let's see if that works. There we go. You can just let that dry, or you can continue by doing other stuff to it. We'll come back to them. We'll just put these bits on while we think of it. Let's do some more darks. Let's spray. You never know what you're going to get. That's the fun of it. Let's throw some bright, maybe some red in there. Dark. Make some clouds. Scrunch up your let it just seep or add more stuff to it. A little bit more of this along the edge here. Hey, Dorothy. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. I think I want that different. I think I'm going to put some blue in there. Right in here. So we'll let it do its thing. Let's see if we can move anything on this one here. Okay, where did I put that? This here. Let's see. Is it too dry? Yeah, it is. Oh well. Play with it. I want to make some rocks, I think. So let's put dark, a bit of marine, ultramarine in here. And I'm going to put this over here. And let's make, let's get wet here. Let's make this like that. Turn this around. See, we could have it either way. That could be daytime, and you could have a storm coming in. It's so fun to do. Let's see. We could even just leave it like that, or let's put on some of that dark again. And I'm going to, let me think, do I want it that way or this way? I'm going to put it here. So I'm just going to use the tip to go across here. Have a little bit of brown in there. There we have a little bit of a island happening. And then, let's see, put some rocks in here. It's almost ready. Got it dry just a smidge, and then we'll add some more rocks. Hey, Joan. Sometimes it's just the slightest amount needed. It's really cool. There's the little rocks. We'll put that aside. A couple more left, and then we'll play with them with some pen work and or maybe some more. Let's do this one. Let's cover the whole thing with water. Nice dark sky. Maybe some northern lights in there. Take some out. Yeah, I've seen a little bit of northern lights, but we don't see them too much here. You have to be fairly up north to see them. But they are spectacular from what I've seen in photographs. Okay, I'm going to take I'm just going to scratch in some. Just to see what we get. Let that fill in. Like that. I'm going to put that over here. Let it dry. We'll see what we get. And one more. Let's see. You just have to get a piece of watercolor paper and just play and see what develops, basically. Because you never know. do some bright green in here. Maybe some blue, sky blue, some cerulean. See what we get. Tip it. The more you do, the cooler you'll get ideas. I find you have to put on quite a bit of paint because they do end up being fairly softer looking. And if you want a real intense color, you have to use a bit more paint. And you'll get different effects by how dry your paint is too. You'll get blooms and stuff like that, but sometimes that could be really cool. So try some of those because you never know. Let's see. And maybe if we put in a bit of line work here, along here, could even just put up some trees. This one paint that I have is Winsor & Newton. What is it called? Green Apatite Genuine. It's a beautiful color. Very olivey green, but it has green has brown gradation in it. It's gorgeous. This one isn't doing too much. Change in it. Okay, where did I put my? Did I leave it in there? Nope. Oh, there it is. I was just gonna say not again. Darn fairies are taking my brushes. Do I see anything at all in this one? You kind of have to move them around. See if you see anything. Kind of speckled. Let's put a little bit more. Let's put some of that green in there. It's still wet. Some brown. Oop. Bit of Payne's gray across there. See if we can get something moving. What else? Let's sprinkle some salt on that. Forgot about that. Just put some salt on. Sometimes you get some awesome effects. Let's put some salt on this here. Maybe on this one. It has to be a certain dryness for it to work. Salt. But I do like the look of it. So we'll leave that one to dry over here. And let's clean off I'll take this off. Okay. So here's one. That's still got a bit of water on the corner, but let's dry it. It's pretty well dry, but let's dry it. That's the first one we did. Let's take the papers off. They look nice when they're you put the tape on them, I find, but you don't have to. They look a little bit like a finished little piece of art. Okay, so you could leave it like that. Let me turn the lighting down a bit. There. I think you can see it better now. There. So it looks like a bunch of rocks and maybe the sun's starting to go down. It's just bright white. So I'm going to bring you in though a little bit just so you can see what I'm going to do. And we'll play with either more watercolor or pen work. There we go. All right, so I think I'm going to get a stiffer brush so I can take away some stuff. Let's see. I have a Deerfoot stippler here. And I can just... This looks like rays to me. Oh no, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get any of this up at all. But, yep. A bit dirty water, but that. There's sunrise. do too much or you'll start lifting the paint or the paper, but you can lift a bit. There, like that. Just coming up over the mountains or trees or whatever it is back here. Let's see, I got a real fine paintbrush here. And we could use a little bit of that Payne's gray on it if you want to emphasize anything. Like you have to be careful, but darken some areas, maybe down in here, a little bit of shadows. Make these a little thicker. Take the dark edge away. That. That's cute. You could also use pen. If you want to use pen, you could put pen in there. We could put more of a sky in if you wanted to, like a little bit more. Let's see. A bit of water. Maybe in here. A little bit more blue. Just to bring that sky up a little bit. In the corners, just strengthen the color. You can always put the clouds back in too. Soften the edge. That. And let's see, a little bit of this purple mix. Maybe that would be a little bit lighter, but maybe this should be darker in here. Maybe this is the mountain. And then take your palette knife and scratch away a little bit. Sometimes you have to let it dry just a touch. that. Give it a little bit of dimension. And there's part of your landscape. I'm just going to soften, I think, that little area there. That. And there's the first. I think it looks cool. Okay, what can we do with this one? This looks like trees to me. Let's see what it looks like here. This could be water. Not much on that side, but this could possibly be trees and stuff. This could be a little bed of water here. So what we can do, let's soften this up a little bit. This could be part of the tree line. Could make this. We could take this, would be mirroring like a reflection of the sky. So a little bit of that blue. I think that was ultramarine. Yeah. Just take a little bit of that. And a little bit of red, I think it was, in there. So maybe this is a muddy area right in here. Pathway, maybe? Tracks from a, I don't know, tractor? This is, if you're wondering what to paint, this is a great way of finding stuff in your paintings. So instead of finding a picture that you're thinking you want to paint, it kind of develops for you. So you just go with it. And it's a lot of fun. Let's see. Maybe this is a roadway and it's got a puddle in it. Can you see it? The puddle? So it would be wet around the edges because the dirt would remain fairly wet. Tracks going through it. Let's see what else we can do here. This looks like bushes to me. Just dab. So little bushes in here. I'm just using what's on my palette beside me. Or we could make this a rock. Maybe we'll make that a rock. Let's just cover it. Maybe this one will be a rock too. It's got some bushes behind it. So if you mix your colors, when you go to scrape it, it gives you a really cool look. You just have to make sure you scrape it at the right time. So it just has to be a little bit dry. Can't have pools of water because then you're just basically pushing the water around and then it just fills back in. Okay. Let that dry a little bit. So when you start to see that sheen go down a little bit that's on it, it's a little bit, take some of that off. There we go. Yeah, it's still a little bit wet. Okay. I'm going to make it a little bit darker in here. Maybe along the bottom here. Some of the crevices. It's not dark enough. All right, let's put that away and let it dry. What else do we have here? Okay, here's this one. So this one could be fun. So we could have trees in here. So I got my small brush here. Let's put some trees in. Now you wouldn't see all of the tree, just bits and pieces of the different branches or trunks. Maybe you see some that have lost their leaves or they're dead, or just connect the spots. Actually, let's put, these are small enough. I think I could probably just use my pen. Here's a Sharpie pen. Yeah. Just play with this. Get some of those tree branches in. Maybe they're farther away. Could have a little bit of snow in here. Maybe these are evergreens. That might be cool. And let's see, what else? What else can we do? Just make it interesting. We could separate areas too. Just making little marks like squiggles here and there. Separate trees. Gives them a different look then. So here I'm just looking at the green ones, making those a little bit different than the other ones. It's a little bit wet here. We get the overlap stuff. Let's see what else. There's one here. This just brings it out a little bit. You don't have to do this. I like it though. I think it's kind of cool. If you want to bring your foreground out a little bit more, you can do that. Let's see. Let's put in, let's see if we can do it. Thanks, Joan. Let's put in some, I'm going to scratch away. Should be able to do it. Some so you're actually tearing the paper, but it makes it look like birch trees because they're kind of blotchy looking. Birch trees usually you'll see them in clumps. You could do this with a razor blade too, or an X-Acto knife. Use the point. Put some in here. It's behind a tree or a bush. Like that. Okay. And we can add some more shadows along the edge. So this kind of reminds me of snow here and there too. So we could also add a little bit of this brown here. So the umber color. Or emphasize maybe an area that you want the brown to pop out a bit more. Let's pop these out just a bit. And some of this background in here would be some areas that would be darker and because it wouldn't be all the same. You would have shadows in and out. Trees. So you could either just find those darker areas that are already there and just enhance them a little bit more, or you can make your own up. It'd be more down on the bottom than in the top. Just have to remember that, and you should be good. It's kind of hard to see with the glare. They're fun to do though. I hope you'll try them. It's very relaxing. It's almost like doodling. And you can keep adding to make it more. It's almost, well, I guess you could say it's almost like negative painting too, because you're painting around the foliage. So basically, the little see-through spots in the brush where you can see through backwards back to the forest. So the real darks would be closer to the this horizon. Well, it's not really a horizon, but the front of that bush area. Okay. And you could even do the snow areas where maybe there's a little bit of mud going on in there. Could make those white spots snow mounds if you wanted to. Highlight and put a little bit of a shadow on them. A bit of a shadow on there. This is kind of blurry, so what can we do here? Maybe even take some away. Let's see. have, say, a log in here. I think I'll bring it up behind here. Maybe it's part of this, a tree maybe, I don't know. Okay, so let's put that away. The other ones, this one. Now, these little marks here, this was from water. I had it by my water bucket and it did this. But it's kind of cool. As an abstract, this is kind of cool. See the separation of the paint there? I like when stuff like that happens. Oh, okay, so here we go. Here's a tree to me, and maybe these are little fireflies. That is cool. Okay, so I could take it's a little bit on the brown side, so maybe use a brown pen instead. I know I have one somewhere in this schmozzle. There's one. It's a bit, no, I want something smaller. But I don't know if I have one. Well, we'll try this first. Okay. Let's bring it out a little bit. So, this could be a tree. So this kind of looks like brush behind it. And this looks like a lump in the tree, you know, maybe, that looks like a branch here. Could have it either way too. Could be spring. Doesn't it remind you of spring? Maybe it's a pussy willow. Let's do a pussy willow. Okay, so we'll put a pussy willow starting right here. Start off like that. And a little bit of black in there. More or less on the edges. Are you thinking of spring? I am. I can't wait. It always makes me so envious of Janet when she says, "Oh, my daffodils are up," and it's like the end of February, and I'm going, "Oh, I got like 2 months before I'll ever see that." And then if you have a white pen, I do have white pens around somewhere, but I don't think I have them down here. Oh, there's one. I lied. You could use white pen on this too. You're thinking of spring too. Oh, I'm so tired of snow. Is this going to work? Oh, maybe not. Let's see. Try this one. Yep, that should work. Yeah. Just on the, more or less the center. Just a little bit of white. That. And that's all I'm going to put. It's just one. I'm going to put a little bit of green just right here. Just a hint of green. Like that. And then I could just have a little thing right here. Spring or hope. Hope would be good. Okay, so there's that one. See, you just never know what you're going to get in these guys. You just have to play. Well, let's see. We have this one. Splash some water on it. Now I see a figure here, and I also see a face and hair right here. So we have to make a face, right? Let's see, that might work. Here's a small liner brush. Oops, sorry, you were out of. Okay. I even see a story here. What do you guys see? I see a couch. Maybe an Afghan because it's bumpy. She's sitting on a couch. And there's her forehead. She's a little bit of an odd looking person, but we're all different. Maybe she's got a collar on. So let's do that. Maybe she's got her bathrobe on. And this looks like afro to me. So we could leave that outline because it's pretty strong. And then just do some squiggly marks. Maybe she's got a headband on even. Okay. She's got a high forehead. Oh, maybe let's put a headband. You know, a lot of times people wear these thick headbands. Yeah, that'll work like that. And then it compensates for the size of the head. So put some marks in there for folds. That you could put a or maybe I'll just color that in. Could just along the outline of her hair. That way you can see that it's like that. Yep, thinking of, oh, I already read that. Okay, so there's her. And then I see this figure here. And this almost looks like, oh, this could be, just had a good idea. This is in the distance, so you're not really seeing the full detailed figure. I see pigeons. There's a big feather there. These could be pigeons. He's feeding, or she, whoever, is feeding the pigeons. So there's all these pigeons flying around. It could be the tail one. Can't really tell. We'll just put a few in. There's some here that are flying away. There's a tail, I think. And we'll just put like that. Okay, there's another tail. So they're overlapping each other. They're just going bonkers. And then this could be leaves and stuff. Standing by the park. So there'd be bushes around and stuff like that. So this is what I see. And maybe she's in the park watching. What do you think? Is it believable? I love looking at stuff and looking at what's that telling me? What's the story of this person? I love doing that. So as you can see, your mind's eye will fill in a lot of this stuff. You don't have to fill the whole thing in. You could just do a bit of it. But you get the idea by just looking at that, actually, if you wanted to. And this could be either the front view, a side view, a back view. You could just leave it as is this way. Or if you wanted to, you could put a suggestion. Maybe this is a leg here. Like that. Could have her arm there. I think this is the shoulder, so yeah, you could change it up however you want. I think I'll just leave it like this as an abstract painting. Semi-abstract, I guess. Okay, so that's it for that one. Okay, for this one, we did put some salt on, but it didn't do anything because it didn't have enough water on it. So this is just very, very simple. This could be a very calm before the storm type of thing. Always good to turn them around. You never know. Nah, that could be tree bark. Just wanted to do a real intense drawing of tree bark here. That would be cool. I like drawing tree bark, actually. Or you could make this into, put a sailboat on, or make some mountains in there. Or just leave it as is. Put some birds flying. Let's just do a simple one, birds flying. So a little circle. Bunch of seagulls. Guess I should make that guy a little bit. It's caught in the breeze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you could make as many as you want. You could have them actually coming off the page. Like that. I love how they come to life. Yeah, isn't it cool? So there you go. There's just something simple. You could put a little word on there. They're fun. Let's see what else we got here. Well, we already did this one, but we could. Well, let's do the other ones first. Okay, there was this one here. I like to turn it around, see what I see. Kind of see a forest there. Some of them you don't need to put anything. Like maybe this is birch trees. in the winter. Now, depending on the birch tree, you'll have different looks. Some birch trees are real white, and then there's other ones that are a little bit on the gray side, even a little bit on the, I guess it would be kind of a beigey ochre color. They're all different. I have what they call river birch in my yard. I love them. They're very textural in the wintertime. Well, all year, but they're more noticeable in the winter because you see the bark more. And they're very they're peeling all the time, but they peel in layers with just not one layer, but there's like 3 layers, and you'll see a real white layer, and then you'll see a kind of a ochre color, and then you'll see gray. It's beautiful. Like that. And then a lot of the limbs will be kind of a blacky, almost into a maroon color. They're the limbs on that are coming off of this trunk. Let's make another one in here. Why not? It's hiding. I don't know what this is, but we could just leave it. Doesn't matter. You know, a lot of times you'll see a lot of broken limbs too on them, just from wear and tear and that type of thing. Let's see, get some white. Put a little white in here. Or you could use gouache if you want to add some more white areas. You could do that too. And then the moon is shining. You could put some limbs. They do have a lot of saplings that come from the base of their tree. So you could put those in. They're fun. I like doing these. All right, and I think that's it for that one. So we have kind of a foggy moon, cold day. That could be a different tree in the background. Okay, let's see. This one, this is kind of soft. This kind of reminds me of a desert or beach area. So I think all this one needs is probably, maybe we'll use the brown. Is a bunch of weeds. In those areas where it's darker, that would be the area where the little bits of grass is coming up. A lot of times they're different. Don't always put them all the same. There's sometimes they're bigger, smaller, broken ones. Don't forget to put some broken ones in. That could be just snow. This kind of looks lonely to me. You could put lonely on there. There's this one. This one I think needs a little bit more on here just to finish this off. Just along the edges so it's not so white. And maybe on the bottom. These are fun to do. Kind of reminds me of a bit of a sunset, so we could add a little bit more on the sunset part. So let's see, a little bit of orange. It's a bright sunset. That. And then we'd want a little bit of that color. Very, very light right in here because it would be showing on the water. So just a take some of that off. Maybe a little yellow. Like that. There. These look like storm clouds, possibly. Let's soften that. This here. Softens some areas that are not quite doing what you want. That. So it doesn't take much. There. I think that's good. Now I could do clouds. I could put a sailboat on there. Or you could have stuff around the edge too if you wanted to. Make it more, let's see, just play with things. See what you can make up as you go. So let's make this a little bit darker along the edge. And sometimes you'll wreck things, but play with it because you won't know unless you try. And the way you find out things is by making mistakes, right? So you have to be willing to fail to learn. There's a storm coming in. Looks like a storm. Let's put a little bit of clouds in here. Soften those a little bit. Take some out. There. I think that one's done. Now I'll probably go back and maybe make that horizon line a little bit stronger. But for now, I like it. Now this was one that we put salt on. As you can see, there's a lot of texture now. It's not dry yet though, so I'm going to leave that one. And this one's still wet too. So I'll leave that one. It's still wet. We'll see what we can make out of that one later. But yeah, just play. So here's what we've made up so far. So kind of a lonesome day at the beach there, or this could be up north off of one of the lakes. There's some people at a park that came up. Here's a little bush area. some rocks, some brush for weeds. This is kind of a beachy. This kind of reminds me of a foggy day at the beach. You know, how everything's kind of misty. And there's the birch trees in kind of a foggy, misty winter day. This one I'm not crazy on. I think it got a little bit on the muddy side, but that's how we learn. And there's our spring hope one. All right, so that's it for today. So I hope you'll give it a try. So there's no drawing required. There's just play. Yeah, it's fantastic for your imagination. It gets you thinking. It gets your imagination going. So make up a whole bunch of them. Get one piece of paper and cut them all up. Cut it up into 3 by 4 squares. And then put a bunch of paint on them, let them dry, and then come back and see what you see in them. And you could do the splatters, you could add salt, you could add wetting agent, or you could throw some gouache on it. That'll do something to the paint when it's wet. Just have fun with it. All right, so have a fantastic evening or day, whatever it is for you, and we'll see you on Thursday for a cute little snowman painting. And this one will be on canvas. So have a fantastic day, everyone, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.